couple of people feel that they're brilliant. Some people say that they're too brilliant. So physics. Please understand, I am not a motivational speaker. So the whole, I'm not going to do it. It's a lecture. It's a lecture.
Don't have to find immediately I entered it.
So, okay, I wrote something here and I wrote crazy. Started with a consultant a long time ago now. I really suffered. Most times that's not how people would start it. Like I really suffered. But I was a bit lucky because before I started, a friend of mine had called me and told me, "We are going to start this. Just know that in the first 7 years, you will not be earning anything." That helped. So I felt that because I was very brilliant that I was going to do something against what he said. But he called me like 2 years later and he told me, in case you get paid, don't collect the money. And that's what he meant. And so I couldn't earn money for 7 years. I run 9 businesses deliberately. But I had to first think out close to 15 years to live. And older than I look. Just like my friend here. So I'm going to start the lecture. And first and foremost, I need to try as much as possible to get rid of some things that we believe in that may not be totally true. If you are walking from this place to that place, and someone tells you that you are going to go through this place, I need to be able to first and foremost tell you that you can't go through this place, and you must go through this place. So there are a couple of misconceptions that people have. Because when we were talking, he said one of the major challenges that people face is monetary investment in business. Unfortunately, it's really not business. It's really not money. And any businessman will tell you that it's quite easy to get funded. Let me give you the first misconception. And this might shock a couple of people. Just because you are doing an enterprise that is making money does not mean that it's a business. You've got to know. If you're a hustler, you're a contractor, you're a this, you're a that, you're a trader, you don't do business. Business is just business. I'm going to explain for you. First and foremost, just know there's nothing called a one-man business. It's really not business. If you are thinking that I know a lot, I mean, this is a PhD guy who's fantastic. He's going to come up after me. And some of these things you learn when you come to a business school. He owns the business school. We just met once, so I'm not talking for him, but I will explain. So, because I have people who will come and say, I run a business. I still have 2 people that I don't know what to do with. But the one set of people that I do not get involved with are professionals, because they are the most difficult to explain to them. What they know is what is keeping them away from becoming a business person. The more learned you are in your profession, the more difficult it is to build a business. second misconception is that anything will work as long as you get enough funding. It doesn't work like that. I had this friend a long time ago. That was while I was sick. Oh, anything. There's this misconception that all I need is just money to make more money. You understand? A friend of mine came from the US back then, and he said he had 7 million. That was a long time ago. He had 7 million, and so I told him that what you want to do, we want to set up a fish farm, and I told him that this is not going to work like this. So the guy told me something very powerful. It was my secondary school class when I was trouble. And he said, listen, this is Nigeria. I have been told that whatever you put money into, you will get the money back as long as you bring in enough money. So I told him that it doesn't work like that. But you know, he had fantastic money. And I was still going through my no money stage. And I was staying with my parents. So it didn't really look as if Tunde would really know what he was talking about. He called me a couple of years later that he had lost all the money. No, that's not really this. He's still my friend. That was maybe like 15 years ago. I still called him this year. And he was still throwing money at anything. Basically because he still believes as long as you put money somewhere. So he keeps thinking that it's because I didn't spend enough money in this, that's why I failed. Or because, and I do not know how to tell you. More money does not bring more money. Like I said, sorry?
Against one Igbo proverb that says everybody can change.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's an Igbo proverb.
Okay.
You make money, you make money.
Yes. Please understand this. Please understand this. If you understand the first misconception, you will understand where that came from. Igbos are generally traders, not business people. If you throw money into trading, the more money you put into trading, the more money you get out.
It's likely to get out.
Well, okay. I'm so sorry about that. It's likely. Okay, fantastic. Yes. I have 2 partners this year. One, we're using 1 million naira to generate 12 million naira every year. That is possible. Another one, we're using 6 million naira to generate 54 million naira. So it's not necessarily more money. The challenge is this. If you have misconceptions, especially since when we were young, it becomes very difficult to bring in new things. Because you hold on to your misconception, and it becomes very difficult to play reality, the game of reality. My dad was very brilliant. He still is very brilliant. Quite old now. And I think my mom too was quite brilliant. But my dad was a super genius. And because he was an employee, a high-level employee, he felt that his children should go into high-level, blah, blah, blah. And so when I decided not to do that, he felt, a mechanical engineer should become. And in my mind, I'm like, I like money. And I know this path does not bring. Just because he doesn't understand the second part, he feels that this path must work. That this is the only side of life that works, productivity-wise. And so we had struggles. We are still not the best of friends till today. And the reason why I'm saying that is basically because of the misconception. Professionalism, brilliance, and all of that does not work in business. Quite painful, but that's just the truth. That is why at one point in time it was raining that all you needed to make it in business was to be a dropout. And I will explain why that is actually necessary. It's quite painful for some people who have acquired a lot of degrees. So let me tell you, this is not a misconception, but this is something that you would have seen. And I would really, really like you to write this down and know it. There are 4 levels of impartation, 4 different levels. The first level is if I'm standing in front of you here, and I could encourage you. That encouragement is what we call motivational speaking here in Nigeria. And I could encourage you. And if you notice, motivational speaking always ends up with you feeling good about yourself. Yes, and most times you just feel, I can go and do it. I can go and do it. Like I said, I'm not a motivational speaker. And somehow, it is also the lowest level of impartation. Second level is motivation. Not the one that they do here. And motivation has to do with counsel. Or if you also want to do it through books. And it goes a little, this is going to make you laugh. I remember a friend of mine, we were talking after a while, a couple of years ago. And I told him that I read a little. And the guy said, yes, I read too. I said, okay, what kind of books do you read? Basically because, our conversations are not like, he said, I have a whole library filled with motivational books. So I was a bit confused. I was like, why are you reading motivational books? And the guy was like, man, it inspires me. I said, it inspires you to do what? Because motivational books don't really have content. They're just meant to really inspire whatever is inside. So I asked him that. I don't get it. I said, I have one motivational book. One, because I'm human, so sometimes I'll feel down. But I have one. Now, if you remove that one, then you will need the over 3,000 books that I've read in business and management. Well, you have maybe like 3,000 books. And then one on business. I said, you won't be able to talk. Maybe I might have said it a bit more harshly than this because we've not talked since then. He doesn't call me anymore. But I counsel sometimes, very few times. And if you can find someone who can counsel, it will be fantastic. Because it goes a bit higher than motivation, Nigerian motivation, which is actually encouragement. But if you also want encouragement, you can just talk to your pastor, they give encouragement. The third level is skills. You understand? Skills. Very important. Thank you. Yes. And professionally, we know what skills are. Business-wise, we don't know what skills are. And I will tell you why. I remember some time ago, someone called me and said, "You're a consultant," and I said, I'm not a consultant, I just run a consulting firm. And the person was like, "Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, how come I don't see consultants like you?" I now told the person that, listen, the challenge that we have in Nigeria is that the people who can teach you what you need to know will rather take that knowledge and start up their own businesses. That is just common sense. If I can use $1 million to produce 12 million, why would I need you? I'll just go and do it myself. So maybe outside the country, people are a bit more liberal, but in Nigeria, so in the area of business, there are very few people who will actually teach you business. That's why when people come to me and they say things like, "I need you to mentor me," I get confused. I'm not going to mentor you. Nobody will mentor you. Nobody. I was talking to my PhD friend here, and we're just sharing the first time and the only time we met. And he was the one that introduced us. And he was telling me, it's something I'm still going to talk about. And he was telling me, and he said, "Listen, I found this mentor." In my mind, I was like, "Okay, you're joking right now." In my mind, though. But he now finished saying, "Well, I now went to work for her." No mentor will give you business training unless you're working with the person. No mentor will. We don't have mentor-mentees. Those are things that consultants came with. All we have are masters and PhDs. If you're not willing to have a master, the person will motivate you. And the fourth level of impartation is when we are giving tools. And the difference between skills and tools is that skills training takes a while. It takes a while. And most times you won't be able to do it without a person who trains you. You constantly have to. Now, he is shaking his head, but this is the point. People who have tools, it's not that they don't have tools. But you see, the things that I learned in 10 years, I can teach you in one day using a tool. But why should I teach you in one day? And the people who have tools don't share them. There was someone that I was asking out recently, and we're talking, and she was like highly placed in Winners. I don't know, it's a church. Very close to Bishop Adeola. And she said someone on her level was also complaining that, how can Bishop do all of this and they can't do any of this? So I now told her, I said, the man has tools. And I said, well, I've been there for 15 years. I said, your being around does not mean that he's going to give you his tools. So he can do what he can do, not by the power of the Holy Spirit. It's the tools.
Yes.
But it's not going to release it. It doesn't come by you standing somewhere and he's talking to 50,000 people. Tools are not released like that. But somehow, there are a couple of people who will serve under him. They might not even be in it. They might just love him, and he will say, for you. Or he might say, come, do this and do this. And they say, come, do this and do this. And then you start hearing their names and say, how? And there are people sitting with him on a daily basis. So choose. It was I will have explained it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share a tool hold on. This is the time to clap, but don't clap. I'm not sharing it to the people here because I don't know you. I'm sharing it because of him. I know him. So if you can, please, just take one and let it go. No, please, I honor you too much. So let me start by explaining. I was talking about tools. Let me explain those 4 different levels. Let's just imagine that someone were to come to you and say you should farm. And the person inspires you to farm, which is what the government is doing. Farm. Then someone comes to you and really, the real motivational speaker will now tell you not to farm, but are you built for farming? That is where the motivation comes in. Then you now move away from that. Then you now go for training in farming, which is the 3rd level. But you see, no matter how trained you are, I can be wicked to you and not give you cutlasses and hoes. And you will theoretically sound. But I'm keeping away what will make you practically sound. And the reason is this. The moment you get the tools, you don't need the person you're going to do anymore.
Yes, sir.
So please don't expect Bishop Olisa because you might not need it right now. Okay, so which business team do you play for? The business world is like a football team, well, 2 football teams. Not playing against each other, but you only see how your team plays. And I'm going to start from the first thing, where you have a self-employed owner, a big boy who feels that I own the business and blah, 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 and you know everybody has to, and I'm the CEO, MD / chairman of everything. And that person is awesome. Then that person brings in brilliant staff. I mean, where people work who know everything. I mean, they enjoy the perks, they enjoy the listing, and you are feeling very cool that yes, I am now in this company, and you say I'm going to leave, and they are begging you and all of that. So you have those people on one side, and then when you have issues, you bring in the industry consultants who just come in with their suit and everybody is like, man, the person solved it, and all of that, and all of that. Then you have the auxiliary staff who are doing the normal things and who are doing the normal things. And on that side of the divide, everybody plays alone. Everybody plays alone. In fact, they like playing alone. It's awesome because everybody is like, listen, I'm just going out for myself. Now, moving to the other side, and this is the point. This can take me 1 year for me to train you on if I do not show you this. And I can call it the 8 something wonders of the world. And then I'll now be training you 1 month in this and this and this. Now the other side, because that's the one that most people want to become. You have the systems thinking CEO, who is thinking, how does this go global? How does this go, which is fantastic. Now, then you have the leader, the people coordinator. You have the management guru, and then you have the investor. Now, 2 different sides. You have the investor that has money. But you see this investor is not on this other side. In fact, the investor does not listen to people on the other side. Most people don't know that there is a divide, there is a gap. So when they go and meet an investor, An investor is thinking, where is your leader? Where is the business rule? Where is this thing? Are you system thinking? The investor is asking all of those questions in his head. And you keep saying, listen, I will be the business owner. I will now employ something, and we will now grow, and we will now. And then it's like, okay, I'll give you a call back. You're already playing on the wrong thing. That's not where the investor is sitting. In fact, if it was my regular classes, the other side of the football will not be a football. Because this side will be a jungle. Everybody wants to eat the other person out. Your staff is thinking you are not paying me enough, while on the other side, it's a fantastic football team. Everybody just seems to be happy. Why? Because the people up there seem to be self-sufficient, while the people down here, they simply play by teamwork, by partnerships. It's a different mentality. It's a different mentality. And it is difficult for people who are trained and believe that this is how the world works. It is very difficult for them to believe that there is another side that they don't see. No matter how big you are here, people here run away from you. In fact, of course, the challenge is, which I read in his what did you call it? No. Values. He wrote hard work. Because you see, on the other side, there's no hard work. I generally don't work. It's a very terrible thing. I generally don't even leave my house. Every single day.
So how do you operate?
On the other side, you don't need to operate. It's a different ballgame.
Which one is the other side?
The other side is the one below. That is why when I talk with people, the first thing I want to know is, which side are you? Now, it's a profile. The people down there can hear you. The people up there don't even understand you. And and when I talked to him, I knew immediately where he was. And this is quite painful for the people who have trained themselves to be up. So I wrote something here, a new perspective. Then I now wrote assumptions driven by motivational speaker. Please don't forget I'm not a motivational speaker, so it's quite terrible. Motivational speakers will just go and do it. Just wake up in the morning, like 7 people, go and do it. Because I happen to be a Christian. If I was not a Christian, I would still use examples relating to the in fact, I am reading the Bible a long time before I became a Christian. The one very person who's been able to live the longest, according to the Bible, happens to be Jesus Christ. And it's quite funny because he had 12 partners. 12 partners. He started with 12 partners. You are starting with one. The more partners you have, the longer your business is going to last.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not saying he employed 12 people. And that mentality, when we're talking and we met, the first thing I told him is, I have partners While when I make vision and say, if you know how brilliant I am, you know I'm making this and this, what you're saying, I'm making this and this work. I'm just walking back. I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. Because majorly, the first part, the upper part, is for money, it's for status, it's for recognition, which is fantastic. Because as a human being, you want all of those things. But the second part is, to them it's a game. They don't want anything. They don't even want to see. And that in itself frustrates the people up there. So why am I doing all of this? To them, I wrote down like 6 assumptions. I mean, this is not. So the first assumption is that there's only one thing, but actually there are 2 things. And this assumption is basically driven by motivational speakers because they just come they say, they have all that. They say, I don't know why you're not making it. Look at me. Okay, sorry. Those are also pastors. Okay, look at me. And they say, businesses don't work like that. It's not done through determination and perseverance and all of those values that people list out. It doesn't work like that.
How does it work?
I will explain.
Yes. How does it work?
The second assumption is that small hustles become big later. It doesn't. You can stay small for the rest of your life. Please don't forget. I've seen some people looking at me like, I am not a motivational speaker. Your small business can die as a small
May not grow.
Yes.
The value is too small.
The challenge is not. I have met so many people, and she was talking about it. I have met so many people, and the first thing I always ask when they say, I always ask, where's your business plan? First and foremost, I mean, it was generic back then when I was starting. That's the first thing you must have. You don't go to town without a business plan. Now, when your business plan, if someone else reads your business plan, most times, the people that I've met, I mean, I've not really met a lot, but the people that I've met, it's filled with determination and perseverance and dedication and something. In my mind, I'm like, just pack out all of this, what is left. Tell me how you are going to get customers. And they say, listen, once I open shop, customers are going to come. And I'm like, you see, the people who are driving that start small and go big, it's often not the motivational speakers. In reality, they are the pastors, churches. Churches are the only things you start without having a prior base of administration or this thing, and people will just come. So this is where the challenge is. Our economy, the country is filled with so many churches. So you oftentimes, because you go every Sunday to this, you oftentimes go, this was small, now it's big. And the pastor says, look at me! But there's a problem. The church is growing by virtue of you bringing money in. That's free money. So it should grow. You don't get the free money. In fact, this is the terrible part that most people don't know. I keep wishing that I started a church. But it's only a church that uses your professionalism when it needs to grow. You will have to you will have to pay. But if you're in your church, and if you're in my church and you're an accountant, I can just give you the church accounts and you will do it. I would normally have paid for it. That church, I mean, He will be there. I'll set up an NGO, and he will just do it. And I'll say, bless you, brother. Bless you. I see you going somewhere. Bless you. Do it well. And I'll walk away. And he will not be able to ask me for maybe like $1 million. Because even if he says, like, Pastor, I don't know whether I've not eaten. Brother, there are some times that God calls you to fast. So don't use church. Unfortunately, you see factories running down and churches taking over. So people start feeling that is how business is run. It doesn't run like that.
But very soon the reverse will be the case.
Sir?
Very soon the reverse will be the case.
Nigeria.
Nigeria? Sorry. You know, if you don't say the same thing.
We are still here.
Okay, the third assumption that I feel that people should, and I said it before, the concept of a one-man business. That confuses me. That's like saying a one-man team. Business in itself depicts team. So you can't be one man and be a team. You can't be one person and be a family. It's confusing. Now, and I need to say this. How many people, I mean, you guys are fantastic, but how many people know Jack Ma? Jack Ma, Alibaba, fantastic. Now, what most people know that he owns Alibaba. What most people do not know is that he owns 6% of Alibaba. Just 6. Actually, he now owns 4.8% because he sold 1.2% of his shares. And he sold 1.2% for $8.2 billion. Here, you have one man thinking that if I can own 100% of it, why are you happy owning 100% of nothing?
It's in Nigeria.
Oh, it's in Nigeria. Sorry. Oh God. Oh God. I remember a friend of mine, Adeola, and owned a school. I mean, it wasn't in Phoenix. And I came into the school and the school started working. I was still sick back then. So he told me that I had been doing it for 14 years, but you see, lately he moved into this place and, started suspecting demonic, something, yeah. So I was already sick. I was sick for over 5 years. I had to move back to my parents' place. So I could waddle to his place, and I would stroll down, and he told me, you see, the landlord, if I tell you what the landlord did to his children, so I was a bit confused. So I told him, okay, let's partner together. I mean, I might die, but let's just do it together. So there's no need to sign anything. And within one term, we got 70 kids. And I told him that if you give me 2 years, I'll bring in 300 kids into this place. So it's basically because you don't know this stuff. Not because there's a demon. And at that point in time, he was already bringing a couple of prophets and anointing the place. And I didn't even look like a real prophet. If I had known, I would have been. You understand? But my point is now this, because I was saying it with the woman business thing. After 3 months, the first term, he called me and he said, 3 prophets came to see me that I should not be in partnership. So I was very angry that, okay, why didn't the 3 prophets, You know, I said, see, and I try as much as possible not to. So I said, okay. But I now prophesied. At least he took that as a prophecy because he told somebody. And I said, your school will not grow beyond this. The school is still stuck on 70. 4 years later. And you see, all he could say was, to me, I prophesied. But the thing is this. There's a system designed for 70. There's a system designed for 150. There's a system designed for... I had already created 32 different strategies. I had used 2. So I knew what I wanted to do. But he assumed that since it was already growing, it will keep growing. So the prophets now spoke. So I heard it somewhere that it was Tunde who prophesied, and the school has been on a standstill since then.
What of the other 4 prophets?
I think the prophecy was for the school to stay on that level. Yes. I didn't get to see the 3 prophets. It was quite painful. Maybe I could even have helped them set up businesses so that. Another assumption I've really heard is that building businesses is about opportunity and not deep knowledge. I get confused about it. Like I said, I remember when doctors started telling me that maybe you should reduce how much reading you do. I didn't even know that people were not reading. I didn't know. Before, a long time ago, before I would talk to you, I would expect you to have read nothing less than 300 books. Before, I just thought it was normal. You just knew that you had to learn this and read this and read that. And then people ask them, so I did come so that I can be reading books. Now my account issues. But I've been schooled now, so I'm a bit more, and I don't really want anybody.
So please, can you repeat? Building opportunities, businesses are opportunities and not what?
No, they are not by opportunities, they are by deep knowledge, majorly. I don't think if MTN is looking for, because I see it online, if MTN is looking for a CEO, I doubt whether they will just go and say, yeah, my pastor said this week. It's this week. So I'm putting in for this week. In fact, just don't use this week. Yes, please.
Actually, in the Nigerian context,
Yes.
is opportunities that actually get the most things.
Don't forget.
Because deep knowledge,
Don't forget. We are playing from 2 different things.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, you want to pull me back into your team and explain to you how your team works. Okay, now you can tell me now.
No, what I try to say is that in our area of business,
Okay.
we see that.
What's the area of business?
What's it?
What's your own area of business?
Health and safety.
Health and safety. Okay,
Yeah, in our
fantastic.
area of business,
Yes.
we see a lot of people using opportunities not with knowledge. I
Okay.
see an example in
Okay.
this world.
Oh, okay.
Look at that directional sign.
Yes.
I believe whoever that does it
Yes.
is just opportunity.
Okay.
Because that signage is wrong.
Okay.
The person who does it has an opportunity of people around there who want to be a signage
Yes.
instead of getting people who have to take knowledge.
No. People who are professionals.
Yeah, people who are professional.
Okay. Okay.
And not what it. It's not just emergency assist or anything that can do it.
Yes.
That's concern. Thank you.
Okay.
That place is employment.
No, I'm not talking about the corridor. That's signage is right.
It's even wrong.
That's
That's what I'm
emergency.
trying to.
Yes.
Yes,
wrong.
yes, it's wrong. I don't know. But I'm going to ask you so that you can understand how it really works.
I think I want to disagree completely with him.
Don't let us.
It's
Don't,
as if you are on my side.
don't let
I am
us.
on your side.
No, it's also good. It's also good. But
Let me just say it in my own way.
no, we are still going to have questions.
Don't let us start with argument.
Please, just keep exactly that as a question. And I've been seeing it online. People say school na scam. And I said,
Boko Haram.
please understand this. School is not a scam till you leave secondary school. And I will explain. You see, the challenge for school is this. When you are in secondary school, I don't know how many people pass through secondary school, but I really love my secondary school time. I was constantly showing parties and all of that. The base is you have to do maybe like 12 different courses. Now, by the point you are getting to your PhD, you narrow down to one thing, and they call it professionalism. Now, the problem with business is business sits on 12 different legs. You have strategy, you have administration, you have sales, you have customer care, you have clientship, you have technology, you have this, you have that, you have. So, for you to be able to understand business, you have to go back to your secondary school days and know that all of those courses must be learned. Now, hold on, this is where. In secondary school, you passed. Unrelated courses, I mean, maths is very different from English, which is very different from physics, which is very different from. But your brain was able to carry it. Now, the challenge is, as you grow up within the structure of, you now learn one thing. And because you mastered that one thing, you now come into the business world thinking that only one thing will matter. Boom. You're not facing 12 things. So you now become a specialist in sales. But if you're a specialist in sales, what do you do in planning? What do you do for strategy? How about technology? How about finances? How about this? And you're now stuck and say, how come the one thing I went to learn is no longer, is still relevant? For you to get it right, you have to put 12 people together. And that is what conglomerates can do. So you see conglomerates growing majorly because they've been able to, they don't expect you to learn the 12. They just expect those 12 people and then they pay them. I know you won't understand this person. Marketing, there's a marketing team, there's a finance team, there's a sales team, there's a this, there's a that, there's a, and all of those things are running. They don't expect a business growth. Unfortunately, I went to learn the 12. Stupidly, actually. People say that is why I forced it. I used to force it. I tell people, don't learn everything. So school is not a scam. It's just that the things that you need in the business world are a bit much more than the things that the school has been prepared for. School is not a scam. Another assumption, I've already explained it a little. Follow your passion. Dig deep. What is inside of you? Now bring it out. That is your calling. That is your calling.
Already a
The challenge is the tithe. You understand? I don't know how to collect tithe. Don't follow your passion. Don't. It doesn't even make sense. Go and make your money and then use your money to do your passion. So in case you lose it, you just say, I am doing my passion. You understand? And you will enjoy it as a hobby. although I make money somewhere. So most times it is majorly because people can't make it in the real business world. They now come back to their hobby and they now try to build a business. Don't believe 95% of the books out there on motivation. Don't just believe it. Someone will say, Bill Gates' passion is to do Microsoft. That's not his passion. I don't get it. When you meet this, it's not their passion. Say no, it's his passion. It must be. So people get confused when they say Dangote and say trailer was his passion. Then after some time, it's sugar. No, it's cement. Then after some time, he's not into oil. This man gets many passion.
So what do you think is his passion?
Nothing. But I'm going to tell you what they are passionate about, really. They're passionate about partnerships. They're passionate about people. They love people. They love people being around them, having friends. The theme below is about friendship. It's about love. It's not about trying to win somebody and trying to compete with somebody. It's about trying to stay with somebody for the next 20 years of your life. And it's a different mentality. Okay, the next one is investors run after perfect products. If I can just make my products perfect. If you can be working, investors will just come, if we package it well. And the investors, like I said, on this side, do not invest into products. They invest into people. It's not about a product. Anybody can run a product. Stop thinking. That's the whole essence of that side. You can have a fashioner who is a lawyer, head something that he has no professionalism in. Why? It's not really necessary. So people will now be angry and say, it doesn't even have the preventive. At a certain level, it's beyond what you want to study. I understand. So, it's about you. Do I like you enough to put money in you? And if I don't, you see, most people are not really liking it, which is not bad. If you're in the jungle, if you're a lion, you don't need to be likable. But on this side, we are playing on the same team. So I need to like you because I need to pass the ball to you. And most people never accepted that you will need to be liked in the business world. So you say, I know what I'm saying, I know. And so, next one. This one is really weird, and I've heard it. You ask me, why do you have a business? Say, I want to be my own person. I don't want to have a boss. Sack your boss. I've been saying it, and I was laughing. Sack your boss. If you want to sack your boss, don't go into business. Or well, don't play below, because now you are going to have many bosses. An average customer can just call you and blast you, and you have to change your whole processes to suit that customer.
Sure.
Now you have a boss. At least before you had only one boss. Now you have many bosses. So you are no longer the boss. Yes, please.
I feel like we that we produce for big industries,
Yes.
we need to do according to what they want.
Yes.
No choice.
No choice. They control you now.
Yes.
Fantastic. Wouldn't it have been better to just have one boss who can tell you stand up, stand up? But this one is someone is telling you stand up, and that person is telling you sit down. Another person is lie down. Another person is saying so. Most people cannot handle all of that, and so what they do is they now make their business so so small so that they can only serve one person.
You know, when you say you increase price, they say no way.
No, nobody wants increment.
No way. Because looking at the town, they know themselves that the prices of crops are going up,
Yes.
and they also buy, but they don't want you to increase your own.
Yes.
They're the boss.
Yes. If you don't do it, I'll go to your competitor who will want to take the business from you and drop by a few naira, no problem. Then I will come back to you and say, how much do you do your own? You say 150. I've already got you 145. Are you going to do 140?
They tried, they couldn't get.
Oh, okay, in your own case.
They tried, they could not get.
Yeah.
And every day, every time I said we are increasing price, they first of all
The first buy.
they first of all go silent, looking again whether they get another
yes,
one.
that's right. Yes, yes. So it's plenty of bosses to deal with, but you've been able to manage it.
Yes, you know, like we increased by 20%. After argument, they come down to 10%.
10%.
Okay,
Okay,
no problem.
okay. So you've been able to manage it. Another assumption is, this is where I'm going to stop all the assumptions, is that attending free seminars, online videos, and all of those things, that you will mistakenly get the tools of people like that. I see people who will go and watch 3 minutes video and say, man, I caught so much. Nobody puts their tools online. Nobody. No matter how stupid they are. All we do as consulting firms is that we will give you enough for you to come and patronize us.
They'll come back.
So most people feel that, wow, I have gotten it. And even at one point in time, I mean, it was Robert Kiyosaki that everybody was thinking was right. And the book made a lot of sense, which I all that and this thing. What most people didn't know was that was not where Kiyosaki was making his money. He was now training people who pay $1,000 to come for training. That's where he shares truth, not in the book. The book is for you to know that there is a Kiyosaki so that you can attend the seminar. So if you read the book and you are thinking, I'm going to, it's a publicity.
Okay. Where do you share your own tools?
Me, I don't. I'm not even on social media, so that I won't get the urge to mistakenly share. I don't do social media.
But we are not as you are.
Yeah,
We share our tools.
No problem. You're fantastic. You're fantastic. You're fantastic. I've not seen anybody below until they get to 80. That's outside the country. Here in the country, they give it to their children. So it's my children that I'm going to give. Okay. I need to say this without sounding insulting. There are two different things that I want to. The difference between I'm so sorry. The difference between the top and the bottom, and I need to quickly, is capacity. Capacity. If you remove determination, perseverance, and all of that, you'll find out that the people who play on top don't have the same capacity as the people below. Please understand that. I have seen people who just give their lives to Christ, telling me that they can run winners as a church. generally don't argue with people. I just, wow. Wow.
He wants to ride jet.
Now that's the point. There's this assumption that the capacity brings some benefits that they can say, that's what I want. Not realizing that you still need the capacity for those things. Those things come easily. Once you have the capacity for it. Have you been given, okay, sorry. Okay. So I'm going to be, and I need to say this. If you are playing up, banks won't get involved with your business. Basically, you will notice by now, banks actually run after the people below. They don't even need to go to the bank. You just, there's this assumption that if I have money, banks will run after me. But it doesn't work like that. Banks have to see that system working. And then they say, how can we? And then you're like, I don't need money. They say, listen, it's not about me needing money. We just want to give the money to you. And then you mentioned, but there are people looking for the money. They say, we can't trust them. And I will explain to you with another level of capacity. People don't realize something very powerful. You want the bank to give you a one-man business. What if you die? You are the smartest person there. If you die, the bank has lost it. An investor, nobody wants to lose their money. But the problem is, you don't feel that you are going to die. That confuses me.
As long as there is God.
Okay. You know,
It's not a question.
I get it.
Okay.
I reject it.
Okay.
And that's why we come in. That's why corporate governance is very, very key.
Okay.
Comes into that.
Okay.
So that, as a matter of fact, corporate governance does not recognize one person. It recognizes
You will have to start as an entity.
You have to be.
Fantastic.
You know, the lecturer is actually working for you.
Okay.
I don't know how much you have paid.
Okay, I don't know. Yes. What do you call these people up here? What is their general name?
They are wonderful people. I can't call them, whatever I call them, whoever belongs to that place will feel that I am being unfair.
I think you should give them a name. So that, you know, this is not a book. I can trace all that. But I'm trying to record it. So what do I call them?
That man wants to read it.
Choose any name. Not the name that I don't play them. So, no, don't let me.
So what about this other side?
You know, he said you need to have read 300 books before you can talk to him. Inside the 300 books, you should be able to see something like this.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Okay, thank you.
So I said banks won't get involved. The pain is also, apart from banks, angel investors will get involved with you. You know this is going to be very funny. You know, sometimes we know people who are rich, uncles, aunts, blah 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 blah, and then you go and meet them with this awesome business idea, and they're saying it, and by the time you finish, they say, well, and it's because I don't have the money. You know that they have the money. The challenge is most people who have money know, and this is the pain, they know which team you are playing for. And investors don't sit on that team. So they have to lie to you. And if they are also Christians, they lie to you in a very Christianly way. But don't forget, they now tell you that. But see, even if I don't put money in this thing, I see it going somewhere. And somehow you still believe it. If they believe it, they will throw in money.
That's right.
They just put in money. They don't believe it. You know? It is well. Okay, the third one I've already talked about it. People don't read beyond social media bites. I don't do social media, so I encourage people to as much as possible, reduce their social media intake. Not because it's bad. I've been told not to read anymore, but I still read the 64 articles every day. But it's not about whether you should read or not. It's where you're reading from. As much as possible, there's Harvard Business Review, there's blah, 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 there's a couple of. Then
you can find on social media, Twitter, for example.
No, you can't find it.
Other business.
Go to their site, register, pay the money.
Yes.
All those
Only the
bites.
free ones are okay.
Yes, they're deliberate. I told you.
Free one is to
It's to
invite
draw you
you.
in so that you can pay. Then the next one is that people don't mix up with sound people. I like this place. We don't have too many of this kind of places. Not this seminar, but this kind of business school. We don't really have them. Yes, Lagos Business School, but this is another one that I really like. I'm traveling because we are not close at all. We've only spoken once when I came. I don't know how to lie. That's another terrible part of me. I don't tell people to come to business school to learn. It's often the people that you talk to on a daily basis while you are there that you gain the most stuff from. Sincerely.
Yeah. Interactions.
Yes. Unfortunately, those people you'll never find outside. But in a school setting, you'll find them. So if you have the money, go and find a business school to attend. Once you have enough money, not because it's going to bring you money, but because you get to talk to people like you who want to go somewhere. And you know, there's this belief that if you show me your 5 friends around you, I can show you where you're going to. Then I need to say this. This is another major challenge for capacity. Okay, thank God there are not too many young people here. The president said something that people were angry with. He said lazy youth. And there was so much backlash. Now, I have this wonderful name. And it's a whiskey with laptop and all of that. So he was angry too. And his wife was angry. And I got confused. So I told them, because I knew that if I were to argue with the two of them, I might not win. So I called, it was the husband I called with my person. I said, listen, come. And so I said, what's your problem? He said, how can he say that they are lazy now? And I need to give you a context. They have these FEC meetings, Federal Executive Council meetings now, with 36 ministers. And those 36 ministers, anytime they are having
37.
Sorry?
37.
37 including FCT. Okay, fantastic. Now, our 37 ministers were allowed to give 30 minutes reports of everything that is happening. If you calculate it, that is over 18 hours of meeting. And these guys don't sleep. And these guys are close to 80. I go to places and I speak for 1 hour and I see young people sleeping. And you expect them to. They are lazy. I do 9-hour meetings. Normally. They're lazy. And you see, it is with that context of capacity that such people are looking at, and they say, You're not tough. You're not tough. But what they don't understand is when they were younger, I mean, they were presidents when before 40, they were playing here. People used to play here. Now motivational speakers and pastors are told people to come up here, that you can start your own thing, and then it will grow. You can get back here, and so most people have come up here. And so don't expect politicians to listen to you. Everything that you're doing, we're tweeting, I don't know why they're not listening. They can't listen. People on my side don't listen. Everything that you're saying is just chatter. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. I was stupid enough to be reading 1 or 2 books per day. But if you see all of these people, you go into their homes. You see a wide range of life, not because you can afford it, but because they will. Okay. I'm so sorry I'm spending time. And the other side is not football, actually. Like I said, you were probably not here. It's a jungle.
It's a jungle.
You shouldn't write that. But it's a jungle. Because it's filled with hustlers. You understand? It's filled with hustlers. No people want to fight. So I'm just going to run up with what big level business is really all about, several partnerships. I'm just going to be mentioning 5 things. And this could be a bit difficult. Older people like you would appreciate what I'm going to say. People come into life thinking they're going to gain something and not putting anything. You've got to go, business does not allow you. Maybe marriage might, but business does not allow you. You have to think win-win every single day. Sorry?
Maybe before.
Okay.
But now, it doesn't.
Okay.
Okay.
The wife don't go to the husband empty-handed again.
But now you have to bring something to the table.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, and you can't go in thinking, I don't know why it happened. You can't go in thinking this is not going to be a partnership. You understand? It's not going to work. In the business world, I'm not going to talk about marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, even as you are waking up, and I encourage you to stop attending free seminars. Deliberately.
Stop attending.
Free seminars. Because you're not dropping anything.
Not everybody.
This one is free now.
I know. I don't talk. I don't speak.
Okay, that's why you have not spoken.
I don't speak. I don't do this. It's because of him. I don't
Okay.
do this.
Okay.
I don't do this.
Thank you very
I
much.
don't do this.
Thank you for doing that for our sake.
It's inviting us.
For listening. So my thing is, as you walk away, even if it is recharge card or something, just make sure that you give the person. Because your mind on every single item, on every single day you are waking up, for every interaction, think win-win. Okay? Deliberately think win-win. That this is what I'm going to gain from you. What am I going to? That's how the business world is. Yes, please.
You are right. But in Nigeria today,
Yes.
a lot of people want something free.
Yes, I know.
Because we certainly are dropping. There are some occasions we want to organize a free lecture for some group of people.
Okay.
They still want us to give them transport money to come.
Yeah.
No problem. I have no problem. Don't forget. I am here.
Okay.
You understand? So these people are wonderful. I just don't. You understand? But it is well. Yes.
And we want to create more people on that side. And
On which side?
Up or down?
Up.
Well, yeah.
You see, this is the way we want to do it. Then later on, they can now partner.
Okay.
But first of all, we want to train 5,000 youth and women in Lagos
Yes.
on food processing and packaging methods
Okay.
to have the skill.
Yes.
Some can be doing it in their own kitchen,
Which is fantastic.
like taking tomato, onion, and pepper,
Yes.
preserve it for 1 year
Yeah.
without refrigeration.
Yeah. But don't forget, when someone like me, if we were to be seated on the same panel, I will tell people not to do that. You understand? Because you are deliberately growing them for small capacity. Deliberately. You understand? It's not your fault. It's just that you are raising people. You understand? I'm not against it.
Yes.
You understand? But if we were mistakenly put together, I will tell people to run away from you.
To run away from me.
Yes.
No, they are not working for me. Those who decide to work together can work together. Those who decide to use it in their own homes, that when tomato is 4,000 naira,
Yes.
they can buy, preserve it, and then when it's 45,000, they don't need to go to the market.
And you, okay. We are not communicating.
Okay.
You understand?
I've not read 300 books.
So what you just described now, the two figures with this one.
Yes.
But instead of giving it free outright, like a seminar or some training to make you pay a counterpart fee.
Yes.
So what's the deal of that?
I still think.
This is time to run away.
I still think that it's really about you. It's about your mindset. It's about for every. You know, this is quite funny. I took an Uber when I was coming here. I mean, it's funny. Why would I want to think that the guy will not collect full money, majorly if I preach in his car? Before I left my idea, I was going to pay full money. Yes. You understand? This is my point. If you were to come to me and say, please train me in these 12 areas, I will tell you, I don't just have the time. Why don't we partner and do something? But this is where I'm going. The kind of trainings that you need on this level will not cost you anything less than 12 million. So I don't know how much counterpart this thing that it will take. So it's not going to be 100,000.
I still have a question. What do I do as a small business owner? What would I like to do now? What do I do?
You learn the 12 pillars of it.
Not the extreme. You see, the first thing is this. You choose as a person. Think partnerships. All that this does for you is to know the kind of partners that you need. That's just all. That it's always been there. The challenge for him speaking is speaking as someone who has mastered this place. And I can hear you. I can. You understand? But we sit on two different things. And I'm not against you. But there might be some people who feel that they should play here. And this is, if you notice, the Tinobus and the politicians who don't play here. So because we don't know how they're making money, we say they must be stealing money, but we are talking from here.
So they're not.
I'm using 1 million naira to make 12 million naira, I'm not doing anything. I don't even do online anything, it's real business. So if I was a Tinubu and you see Tinubu multiplying, you say, he must be stealing Lagos money. They don't really need the money. And this is quite painful. But your perspective is one side, their perspective is another side. The only problem here is, I don't know whether it's God or this thing, they don't deliberately take people from this place to this place. I understand, we don't. Sorry. You just don't.
Sorry, I don't.
It's about choice.
Yes, choice is very critical, but I don't really get it. Based on what Olatunde said,
Yes.
with respect to training people in food processing and so on,
Yes.
your response is what up to now I'm trying to take.
I think If it's business, the first thing you must always know in business, and since you do corporate governance, is you set up a board of directors. You see, so when you say someone should store something and then sell it for 45,000 naira, you are not creating that.
You didn't get it there.
Okay.
When tomato is cheap, you buy for 4,000.
Okay.
And you preserve it, and you can sell later. When fresh tomato,
My question is, how many people are needed in that process that you just talked about?
In the process?
Yes.
I think it's
How many people are needed? It's just one person.
To do it on their own.
Yes.
And one person cannot do it. It's
okay.
not possible.
For 4,000 naira.
No,
No, I think
we are different.
he's talking about a different thing and you're answering different thing. He's talking about the processes now. How many people do you really need for that process to be completed?
Yes.
Like, is it one person? Is it two? Is it three?
So I'm asking.
So he will know whether those people should actually run away or stay.
You know the way it.
Baba doesn't need these people.
To train
kind of empowerment.
What we want to do is to train people.
Wait now, wait.
Is to train people to understand.
Hello, just wait now. We're trying to bring out something.
Our own is to train people to understand the process of doing it. This is what we have done in Kano, Kaduna, and Lagos and Warri.
CSR. Was it a CSR or okay?
They were sponsored.
I think, hold on.
Yes.
You will get it now. You are raising professionals who will be able to do stuff. If you notice, there are no professionals on the other side.
What we are saying is, we will train individuals. We train. It's like I train people here. After training, you can now go and establish your company the way you want it, whether you want to be up or you want to be down. I think first thing is to give the skill.
Those are not tools.
So it now depends on how you now develop yourself. And like people listening to you and other speakers, they can acquire the necessary.
The challenge is tools. You still keep going back to wanting to pass down specific technical skills.
Yes.
And I'm telling you that the people down here, they don't need your technical skills.
I'm not talking to people down here.
And that's my point.
I'm talking to those who have not even started. And they need to understand that they can do something. And the housewives, what can they do in terms of conserving the scarce money in the home? If the women in Lagos understand this process, they will spend less on food. People you are looking at here, these women,
Only the same. Let's because he didn't just address what he was trying to say.
This as a businessman, or are you doing this as a government official?
okay, I'm doing, it's an association partnering with Lagos State government, and then looking for people to sponsor.
Excuse me, the association gets the fund from Lagos State.
Yes.
What you're delivering is social services.
Yes.
Okay, on behalf of the government. And the association, you wouldn't tell me, let's be frank to ourselves, you wouldn't tell me that the association would be doing that, using up 100% of the money on this project. It's not possible. We are businessmen. Even the associations,
We have to pay.
you have to, you
We
have to
pay some bills.
I'm telling you, wait. When it comes to, let's be very honest to
Very
ourselves.
honest. That is
you will pay yourself. I know how these associations work, okay? Even the UN, even all those UN organizations, they know how they work. They get the billions, okay? They have an amount, they invest in the project itself, and they pay themselves huge amount of money as facilitators. That's how they make the money. At the end of the day, of course, the government will like you to give 100% expenditure of that money they give you. Do you understand? They don't care if you are paying yourself $15,000 or $20,000 as a facilitator. So at the end of the day, both the president, the stakeholders of the association, okay, they will get something, and the association will save for the running of the association, for other mini projects and whatever. So you are an agent of the government. The government is the only business organization that does not look for profit. Every other one.
You have said it. And then you know that the government has said they don't have money, that we should go and source money.
No, what I'm saying is this. As far as it's not your money, if you get donor, it's still through the government of government.
Sure.
So money is, the important thing is that you get money.
You get money, and it will be well accounted for.
Exactly.
Also, please, let me also do something.
And not the account will be produced.
Of course.
Yes, we know how it works.
Going to invest
Because you are professional.
Now, we're looking for something from the government as well.
Let me explain something.
It's as simple, so it's not,
Someone
there's no
called
free
me.
lunch.
Someone called me 2 days ago, and she said she wants to have a home for old people. She said someone who she has known for a while said, bring the project and blah, blah, blah. So I was contacted. So I told her something, just like what he said. Make a distinction between sponsorship and investment. Someone who is sponsoring you not because he or she wants to multiply the money. This person has known you since secondary school. Now you are not on his level. He just wants to help you. Okay, no problem. But an investor who wants to multiply the money. So I asked her, I said, listen, you don't do it. First asked him 2 things. How much is he willing to put down? And then number 2, what kind of investment is he looking for? What kind of ROI is he looking for?
Yes.
So she was like, no, she's my friend. No. I said, ask the person now. If it's sponsorship, I have no problem. But I don't do sponsorships. I do investments. So everything I stood up to talk about is just sponsorship. Yeah, I understand. So thank you very much.
And if you have money to put down.
Investor, not
So let me just I've already talked about some of this the fact that I don't mentor. Then why are people not sharing their tools? I've already talked about. And then just like before, we can't have one person playing on your team. You always have to come in with multiple people. So in business too, if you don't have multiple people, you are not even in business. The tool is not supposed to show you the kind of people that should be on your team, so that you don't mistakenly put 2 CEOs, or you don't have 15 investors, and then you don't have a leader to actually drive everything. Those are the 4 million people that you need. Now, this is even though I talked about it, football teams have highest and lowest paid people on the same team. You can have a Ronaldo and have a Contrell. So you might be paying Ronaldo 350 per week, and then another person is being paid 20. This is where the challenge is for the people here. They talk about, do you know how much the company is gaining? How much am I being paid? It's here.
That's true.
That language does not come in here. Because you can have a Bill Gates that owns 11%. Someone else owns Jack Ma owns, like I said, when it was owning 6%, there were 3 people that owned 11%, 11%. Mark Zuckerberg is not the biggest investor in this thing. The only challenge is you don't get to hear of these people. And they want it deliberately so. You will not even have known of Tinubu if not for politics. Because of his political ambition. And there are so many people playing in that space that deliberately they don't make any comment. Just wake up every morning and they do nothing. It's the act of doing nothing. So, I own 6% of my whole company. God forbid!
I reject it.
I reject it. It doesn't happen. So you might be the goalkeeper. And if you notice, the goalkeeper does not run around. But on the same team, you have a midfielder who is running about, and the goalkeeper might be earning more. But if it was in a small business, one day somebody will just sit there and say, now I mean they do all the work. Yeah, like, I don't know whether you heard it. Now I mean they do all the work. So the best thing is for me to go and set up on my own. You've missed it. You've missed it. There are goalkeepers that are earning 350 and there are midfielders that are earning 20. And the two of them are happy. So, my point is this, and that's how, my point is this. If you are going to play up. I'm not against it. If you are going to play down. I'm also not against it. But in between, there's a divide. Don't play in that divide. Don't think that if I live up, I'm going to join the Dangotes. It doesn't work like that. All the people who now come out and say, and that became, most times you will find out that at one point in time they moved with the people down. You are dragged down. You are dragged down. And so, if you are down, and this is the truth, if you are down and you have a son or a daughter, my question is, where would you want your son or your daughter to marry from? Thank you.
Yes. You asked me, one of the questions I asked you was, what do I do? Yes. So how do I get partners?
How do you get partners? There are always partners around.
Yeah, I'll have your number. Sorry? I'll have your number. I'm not down. I'm not thinking down now.
Okay, you're not down. Yes.
So I'm going to have your number, and then we'll talk after.
Oh, yes.
You are thinking the same thing now. I want to tell you.
There's something I wanted to ask.
Yes. I'm so sorry. Can I take a couple of questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it not possible for person from up to come down?
I'm only down.
I'm not talking about you now. Or somebody will just start, they born you will just start from the down. Because I want to see the possible, because I'm looking at, for me, my understanding is that you must start from here first before you can come here.
Yes, I understand. That understanding in itself is wrong. I started from up by virtue of my dad. You understand? Most times we are born into something like that. So the struggle is now to come. Let me give you an example. And I was saying this over the weekend. I had a partner coming and we were still struggling, the professional that I mentioned to you about. And I didn't know, so because she has a background in Christianity, so I now told her that, listen, let me explain something to you. Can I use Christian stuff with you? Not to every other person, but to answer your question. Now, there was this guy in the Bible called Jesus Christ, who had a cousin called John the Baptist. And when he was talking about John the Baptist, he said, listen, listen, for you guys to understand it. So John the Baptist is the biggest of his generation. But in my kingdom, he is the least. You see, up till that time, every other person had been doing things alone. Jesus Christ was the one starting partnerships. So, when you bring this person to this side, person becomes the least. But he now said something. He said, if you are going to do it, he said, the kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violent will take it by force. So sometimes it takes years, sometimes it takes, but you can cross that divide. But it's going to take you massive energy. You will suffer. Why? Because you were not born on that side. Please understand. Because you were not born on that side. A Dangote's child comes with that emotion. He understands for what his dad is doing. His dad is talking. See, we need strategy in this game. We need this thing. Our sales, our quarterly sales report is not making sense. That's what he grew up with. My dad grew up with, when are they going to pay salaries? So, what you heard from that, you have to drop everything. And see, he keeps calling you back. He keeps calling you. So you will have to retrain, but it's by violence. It's by violence. It's mad crazy. Mad crazy. So the best thing is, so you two will now, by the time you do all of this, you now stay on that side, and then your child now says, yeah, that person said like this. She has a daughter. So no paper for you. You don't hate the food or the daughter. You know that your son is about to go back in the way. Yes, please, next question. No questions.
So how does one know where they belong to?
Very simple.
Wait, now.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, how does one know where they belong to?
Okay.
Because even though looking at this, brilliant staff, industry consultant, but what does it's different things? What do they actually think?
Okay, in real context. Okay, this is what I will say. That part, because most people in Nigeria grew up in that top part. So I'm going to explain the one below. An investor is able to talk to you instantly and know who you are. The ability or the training, or the content. Business gurus, they mastered 12 business skills. Systems thinking CEO, which is the ability to not know anything. That's why it's very difficult for professionals to become CEOs. If you don't know anything, you make a fantastic CEO. Basically because you'll be able to assimilate everything that is coming in and be able to process it. But once you know something, you'll be using that perspective to judge everything that's happening. And a leader, I know people coordinator, natural leaders, not trained leaders. You don't go to a leadership school and think that. So, if I were to talk, I would probably put the leader as someone like Pastor Adeola. People follow them naturally. They just seem to have a connection with large number of people. And while the CEO would probably be someone like Bishop or something, just seem to know how to constantly grow things and understand. So if you are not any of those people, you are probably on. Which is, like I said, which is okay. Yes, please.
I want to ask a question. I'd like to stand because this is a class.
Oh, wow.
For a student. Now, you have used these two words, skills and tools.
Yes.
You know, when people attend interviews,
yes,
there is always an emphasis on what skills do you possess.
Yes.
Okay, now, so which of them now is the most important? Is it tools? Is it skills?
Funny enough, the tools actually bring the skills. I can teach you this stuff. I can teach you to have the skills over like a year. It's something that I've done here. You understand? All that the tool is just supposed to immediately show you is all of the trading in one glance.
Okay.
You understand? So you said when you go for an interview, they are constantly asking.
No, when people,
for
HR,
yes,
for HR,
yes.
The emphasis is always on
skills.
What skills do
Fantastic.
you possess?
They are up there.
Actually,
Yes, don't forget
talking
they are
about,
up there.
talking about HR, no,
I didn't say that.
Oh,
So I got you.
no, that's not all the
You see, I think the disconnect in when we say we run a business or we run a business, in Nigeria, in this I was interacting with my neighbor who is he's a lab technologist. People come there, donate blood and all that.
Okay.
And one day I was just talking, I said, Doctor, we need to audit this your firm. He said, Madam, this one that belongs to me.
He has already answered.
So
it belongs to you.
And then I was like, you should disassociate Dr. X from the lab. He said, how is it possible?
If you get to that point where then you're on your own.
So when my friend was audited,
okay,
and I told him, I said, look, we can't spend any money if that I get paid. I don't because I am a CEO, I just need, I get paid. I get paid.
No wonder you were
So I don't, because what the mistakes most of us make in Nigeria is that, okay, I own this beauty parlor that belongs to me, you don't have a pay to yourself, you don't allocate money that is supposed to be your own. You just dip your hand and spend. So when the auditors came, they said this is the first time that they are auditing a business like this, and they didn't have to spend days in doing that.
Okay.
I think what I want to share here is that all of us coming here as MSEs, small businesses, please disassociate yourself from that business. I think you were trying to say something like, okay, yes, we will die, but I have somebody that said, in this my stuff. How can you come and do this? No, it's not possible. Many of us don't even put an amount. If it is 1 naira you want to be receiving out of that profit that you make, please put it down and let it be recorded. So after we spoke, and the doctor said, they have been doing this thing for the past 10 years and it's working. I said, sir, what if unexpected happens?
Okay, you didn't want to say, what if you die?
No, I didn't want to say what if. I said, what if unexpected happens? What will happen? He said, I'm not yet ready to.
That's all.
So that's just it.
I understand.
Yeah.
Any other thing? I'm handling it.
I just want to ask, like the brilliant staff now,
Yes.
that after really working for an organization, having to move down, like how many, if you want to advise now, for how many years or how long should a brilliant staff work in an organization because if you want to be self-disciplined and work yourself through that to the step?
For you to be asking that question, it's better you stay as a brilliant staff. The key thing is this. The key thing is to look at the roles below and ask yourself which one I want to take. You see, it's not, your challenge is this, you still want to use you to process it down as if there are steps. There are no steps. There are no steps. So you have to become something else. So you can become a management guru. Yes, that might take maybe like 15, 20 years. But that might be what you want to be. Or you might decide to be an investor. Now, unfortunately, on that side, the assumption of an investor is just someone who has plenty of money to give you. No, they are professional investors. An average sound investor will question you. And if you are not someone that they should give money to, person will tell you, you are not someone that they should give money to. So most times, it's not number of years. You can switch like this. You can switch within a day. And you might not switch for like, so it's not length of time. You understand? Okay. Sorry, are you a Christian?
Yeah, what is it?
Are you a Christian or a Muslim?
I'm a Christian.
Or you're a Christian? Are you born again? Let me no, there's a reason why I'm asking.
Okay, yes, I am.
Yeah, you remember that conversion to being born again?
Yes.
You know, it didn't take long. It just comes. That's how it is. So you're either or you're not.
It's a mindset.
Yes. So, thank you very much.
I will do that again.